Question 26. The wrist joint and joints of the hand. The wrist joint is an ellipsoid synovial joint. The articular surfaces is the distal articulating surface of radius and articular disc. See articular disc and distal end of radius, and the scaphoid, lunate and triquetrum bones. The articulating capsule is attached to the margins of articular surfaces and is thickened by radial and ulnar collateral ligaments, dorsal and palmar radiocarpal ligaments, and dorsal and palmar ulnocarpal ligaments. Movement of the wrist joint is flexion, extension, flexion, and also adduction, abduction, and circumduction, which is a combination of these movements. Then you have mid-carpal joint. It's a compound plane synovial joint, which is the proximal and distal rows of carpal bones joints. So medially you have articulating surfaces of scaphoid, lunate and triquetrum, and capitate and hamate, and laterally you have scaphoid, trapezium and trapezoid. So here is one, this is the lateral and this is the medial. The articular cavity of midcarpal joint is separated from wrist joint cavity by intercarpal ligaments. Here, connecting the bones of proximal row, but communicates with carpometacarpal joint cavity. The pisiform bone only communicates or articulates only with palmar surface of triquetrum bone. The bones of the proximal and distal row are connected by interosseous ligaments and dorsal and palmar ligaments. The movement is combined with movement of the wrist joint. You have carpometacarpal joints, which is between the carpal bones and the metacarpal bones. These are plane joints, and the joint has a common articular cavity with midcarpal joint. The carpometacarpal joint of the thumb is separated. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here, see a separation. And this is a saddle joint, which allows flexion, extension, adduction, abduction, and opposition. And we have metacarpophalangeal joints, which are condyloid synovial joints. The articulating surfaces are at the bases of proximal phalanges and head of metacarpal bones. Here you get flexion and extension, and in extension you can have abduction and adduction. Joints, which are hinge joints. Articulating surfaces are head of proximal phalanx and base of middle phalanx, head of middle phalanx and base of distal phalanx. The articulating capsule envelopes the joint and is strengthened by collateral ligaments. Movements of interphalangeal joints are flexion and extension.